the electric smart meter issue. I know that the council here has heard from a number of other people, I think back in May, on this issue, and there was apparently some decision to refer it to attorney for possible future action. I hope not to be too much duplicative of what's been said already, but my position is that I am adamantly opposed to what DTE is doing. I think they're a good company, but I think they've lost their way on this issue, and what they're doing is pretty much an outrage in terms of the violation of homeowners' privacy. This is an issue which perhaps ultimately will have to be resolved by the Public Service Commission, but I think there's a great deal of good that can be done when city governments assist residents in bringing some pressure to bear so that the Public Service Commission will take a second look at this, because I think up to now they have just pretty much let DTE run rampant and do whatever they pleased with this. Traditionally, DTE is allowed to change and replace its own meters as needed. The Public Service Commission normally doesn't interfere with that. But because of the radical nature of the new technology, the fact that it does allow DTE to essentially peer inside people's homes and find out what they're doing, what their current activities are, how they're using electric appliances minute by minute all day long, and because that creates a database on the internet that can be hacked into so that other people other than DTE can know what people are doing minute by minute, I think it's an outrageous situation. I do feel that if we can get a few city councils from several cities to take some form of action, whether it be a moratorium or some other type of resolution expressing concern about this, that perhaps we can get the MPSC to take another look at this. I also want to make the point that I am certainly not anti-technology. I'm a computer software person myself, and I certainly understand the overall goals of the program, which is to build a nationwide smart grid. It was that was put in motion by the Energy Independence Act of 2007. I think the overall goals are good. My question is, why hasn't DTE ever explained why it is that in order to implement a nationwide smart grid, they have to have intrusive meters on every homeowner's home? Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Dean Barry. Good evening.
Good evening. Dean Barry, longtime resident. At the last council meeting, we discussed transparency. And I had suggested to you that if you were going to prove just how transparent you really are, that you would educate us, the viewers at home, about the DDA, about the building authority, and let us know, again, how they started, why they started, what they do now, how much money comes, how much money goes, what are they worth, how much debt are we in. I understand there's a lot of complexities involved, so it couldn't be addressed tonight. I understand that. But I also said, you're going to have to start talking about it, because I'm not going to let up. Not just that, but just transparency in and of itself and all that it entails. We have a lobbyist that makes just under $1,500 a week. Does anybody know his whereabouts? Does anybody know what he does? Does anybody know? Can anybody tell us? And by the way, if you do know, how come we don't? That's your job. That's a lot of money. I never seen his name or the positions. By the way, I like Mr. Miller, but that's irrelevant. That position, we have 2 state reps that I'm sure of. We have a state senator. They're in Lansing every day. We have $1,500, call it $1,500 a week, and nobody knows his whereabouts, his progress, nothing. These are things you should be knowing, reporting back to us. And you don't do it. It's nowhere in the budget. I've seen some amendments to the budget. Nothing was mentioned of that. So we don't even know if there's progress being made for that. We have no idea. And I'm sure that if there was, everybody would be talking about it, especially this being an election year. Somebody left their cell phone. It's not mine. So if we're going to talk about transparency, and now I'm speaking on behalf of other people. There's new viewers watching tonight. This is serious stuff. When we don't know what's going on, we have to assume that either you don't, that's not good, or you do and you're not talking about it, that's worse. This again, just another class example. That's why I'm running for city council. We have to start talking about these things. We hear the so-called good. You know what I hear? I hear us being compared to Highland Park, Roseville, East Point, this, that, and that thing's going. I'm going to switch seats with somebody. That's going. I'll pick up next council meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Tony, please.
Hi,
Good evening.
everybody. Tony, please, 8520 Darlene. I want to start off by saying I want to thank publicly everybody that sent me cards. I got cards and calls from people I don't even know and wishing me well. I'm in and out of the hospital probably 4 times since the last time we talked. I'm hopeful now that we're on the right track and everything is going at least in the right direction. And I stay the hell out of the hospital again. The food is good and no good. I have a lot of things wrong. People are asking and saying all kind of stuff, and I have some stuff that still has to be taken care of. But we're on the right track, and I want to again thank everybody for their cards and prayers and all of that. Now, one of the things that were brought up tonight is this thing about taking a house, tearing it down, putting $100,000 and some into it, and selling it for $50,000. I got to tell you, every time you do that, my house goes down $5,000. It's killing us. I think the city ought to get out of the real estate business. If it needs to be knocked down, knock it down. If people don't want it to be empty lot, tell the people on the side of them, take half and half and fix it up. Give them a good price for it so that they can do that. But to spend that, everybody says it's federal money. Where does that federal money come from? Anybody say it don't come out of their back pocket? They're ostrich if they say that. Federal money is your money. They don't have any money. They have our money. And they can do whatever they want with it as long as nobody speaks up. I want to talk to the voters of Warren. Not to tell them who to vote for, because if you want to vote for Fauci, you vote for him. If you want to vote for Kathy, you vote for him, or anybody else running. Vote for who you want to vote for, but be an informed voter. Be an informed voter. And most of all, vote. Because I'll tell you what I've been told all my life, if you don't vote, you can't bitch, period. Don't bitch. You can't. You got to vote and try to vote responsibly. There's a lot of people running. The other thing I got to bring up is this. I'm again one of the co-chairmen for St. Louis Dunk Tank. I'm going to come around and ask everybody again, and everybody that's running, we already got number 1. Mr. Green is number 1 on Saturday. I will bring some paperwork and forms to fill out and get a hold of everybody either by phone or in person. It's a great church. They need the money. like every church and every business does. And we're hopeful that this year we'll bring even more money in because I figure it's an election year. You got to get your name out. You got to get up there, and we're going to warm up the water. We're going to keep it warm. I know everybody says warm up the water. We're trying to figure out some way right now to do that, and it will be warmer. It will not be ice cold. I guarantee it. Again,
Do it over a hot tub.
have a good night.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Rowena. Good evening.
Good evening. Hello. I see Fouts is not here again. Where's he at? Has he got Alzheimer's? He forgets to come? He forgets his age. He forgets what he promised the citizens when he was elected. He doesn't keep anything. He must have Alzheimer's. His age isn't the problem, though. He lied. He doesn't show his birth certificate. Obama showed his. I want to see Fouts' birth certificate. Just for the principle, I'd like to know when he was born. If he lied to the citizens, we have a right to know. He has no reason to hide it if he didn't. And he keeps saying the buck stops here. Well, how come the buck stops here when he's a bully? He bullies people into putting his signs up when they take them down, and he keeps putting them up. He bullies people that have Kathy signs up by trying to give them tickets for stuff that they, 5 days to fix a porch? Nobody can fix a porch in 5 days, especially if you don't have the money. The division of North and South Warren. It is worse now with Fouts. South Warren has been harassed, picked on, and everything. We're not allowed to do anything down there without getting a ticket. But you go down his street, there's garbage cans on half the sides of the houses. How come they don't get in trouble? It's just the South End, as usual. Libraries. This library here gets new carpet for $90,000. Nothing's been done at Bush Library. And yes, I go there 3 or 4 times a month. They've got nothing done. This money that we wanted to help our libraries in the South End, where's it at? Where's it going? We should know. It shouldn't be going for carpet up here at the North End. The park on 9 Mile. That's another waste of money. Who wants to sit? Buses and semis driving down the street and eat? Not me. I wouldn't want to sit there. I wouldn't want my children playing there. I know there's rats there because when we picked a pizza up, we seen one about this big run down the sidewalk. Sorry. So they got rats. You want to sit with the rats and eat? Not me. Yes, there is. They eat at pizzas. Also, he said he would limit himself to 1 term. That was a lie. He said he would turn a police helicopter. Didn't do that. The pool, we know better. Said he'd be at all council meetings. Has he ever showed up at one? No, that's the Alzheimer's, I guess. He said he would not have a deputy mayor. He has one. Just changed the title and gave him a raise. Said he would not have a chief of police. Has one. Changed title. Give him a raise. Said he would use less appointees. He has more and with higher salaries.